guess.
Let's go.
I have to share my opinions on Arkham Shadow and whether or not you should buy this game down the line. This is like my spoiler-free review about the general overview of this game. So, first things first, this game is exclusive to the Metaquest 3 or 3S, simply because of, corporate decisions involved, and mainly because this game was specifically made for that system. But there is a workaround. There are some people who have actually been able to play this game on the Metaquest 2. I wouldn't recommend it because maybe it's not strong enough, but I don't know. It's called sideloading. I will definitely link in the description and the comments if you want to try it on your Metaquest 2. Now, for the story and the characters, the game's premise is basically the Rat King and his infamous Day of Wrath. This kind of seems like a sense of emergency, or urgency if you like Protocol 10 in Arkham City. You go through the story joining forces with the likes of Barbara Gordon, who now dons the title Oracle, Commissioner Gordon, Harvey Dent, Leslie Tompkins, which is actually our first time seeing in the Arkham series. This game has a really solid narrative, alright? They're very consistent with the lingering factors of Arkham Origins, basically focused on Batman's characterization, that he was, and still kind of is, unhinged, generally angry, losing his temper, which is the human part of him that I understand, but he learns to control that better in this. There are glimpses of him losing that control, so you will see that for yourself, and the ideology of him being a more solo type of guy, but now starts to open his circle more, that even starts accepting Gordon and Barbara as allies. Though it's really engaging and nice to see in the dialogue, like with Leslie Tompkins sort of serving as his moral compass too. There's a lot of environmental storytelling, so do keep a keen eye open and interact with as much people as possible. There's a lot of details around you, and it would be a shame if you missed it. Fun fact, it may not be the only, but it's the very first Arkham game to take place over the amount of several days. So that's a really great formula they introduced. Now, there's one thing that every Arkham game does absolutely perfect. Every time. And that's the voice acting. See, Roger Craig Smith returns in this, and he actually plays 3 other characters. If you can guess them, let me know in the comments. They perfectly convey his emotions throughout. It's so consistent, and this is why I see him as Kevin Conroy's successor. Troy Baker also smashing it out of the park as Harvey Dent, Martin Jarvis, the Icon, as Alfred, Tara Strong as Harleen Quinzel, which was actually done better in this because I prefer the more relaxed pre-Harley Quinn chick that is less annoying, and Mara Juno as Leslie Tompkins, and the special edition here is Elijah Wood as Jonathan Crane, who I think sounds like Dino Andrade from Arkham Asylum. I hope I said it right. Elijah basically gives me chills every time he's on screen. I really love his part in the game, and I hope to see more of him in the future. Now, let's look at one of the main features. See, this game packs a good amount of collectibles, some with references to other Arkham games, and there are actually no Riddler trophies in this. But make sure to check out the interview tapes. I also posted a video about them if you're curious to listen to them without collecting them yourself. So the combat. Basically, Rocksteady's formula of the combat in the Arkham games is literally unmatched. Okay, we've seen so many games copying this, and it's severely satisfying and just overall fun and creative how it just flows well, and that no other company really could do it justice. But it serves as a huge inspiration for a lot. And this is what I wanted to see in the game. Now, I was kind of doubting at first because I felt it's a VR game. Maybe it wouldn't be translated that well. But it takes it to a really good level for a VR game, okay? Sure, it is limited because you're not going to see as much versatility like with the flat screen game. But it's really fun. And the most important thing, it makes me feel like Batman. And that it makes perfect sense how it actually goes. You've got the enemies to fight that you can punch in several ways. Sometimes you gotta chain. You gotta chain your punches right in a certain specific area. Also, I like the fact that it's not just cheap combat that just has you to spam punches at the enemy, since you got the motion freedom to do that. But no, it's strategically done that you got all the moves that are basically reminiscent to Arkham City and Origins. It is lacking the disarm takedown and the multi-ground takedown, but I don't find it that bad. It is camouflage's first time, so I'll cut them slack for that. My movement stats on my MetaQuest have basically tripled since I played this game. Now, Predator, well, the Predator in this game, for a first try,
outclassed and outmatched.
But I will be real, there is room for improvement. See, it's good. I would say it's very comparable to Arkham Asylum. You have the primary functions, all the takedowns basically, and I like how the silent takedown was done, that you reach both arms out and seemingly break an enemy's neck. Don't worry though, they are unconscious. You have the vent and the great takedowns, inverted takedown. Also, another thing that's missing is ledge takedowns, backclawing enemies off of railings, or throwing batarangs at enemies off of ledges. And the most important thing, explosive gel tricks by placing them on ladders that enemies would use. The AI is quite perceptive with sounds. Smoke bombs in this game, let me be real, they are only good for like the first 2 or 3 predator sections in the game. Later on it just becomes obsolete because every enemy has basically the thermal goggles. Now for the gadgets, they are quite limited, okay? And that's fine. You've got the backclaw, the triple batarang, sonic batarang, explosive gel, and the decoder, which is basically the prototype of the cryptographic sequencer. I like how it is that we have limited amount of gadgets because it realistically works since you pull your gadgets out of your belt. And since your belt is quite limited, but you still got your gadgets actually sitting out of your belt that you can physically grab them. And the quick use functions work pretty well most of the time, I'll be honest, most of the time. And yeah, you can use the decoder to listen to the radio and unlock doors and jam weapons or jammers. The way the exploration in this game was done was a really good choice, okay? I personally think that them choosing a single location away from literally everything else, aka Gotham, was a good choice, alright? Tell the story in a better way, and the fact that it's a VR game, it also again wouldn't be possible to have the entire Arkham Origins map fully fledged with free roam, because it doesn't really feel limited at all due to all the levels and layers that the story does give you. And there's just also a few couple of iconic places that some of you probably know, like the Monarch Theater, Jezebel Plaza, My Alibi. Now for the bugs, this game right now isn't at its most stable point yet. There are moments where the FPS does tank, and I can't say that it's the game's fault, because most of the time I've noticed the FPS tanking due to me recording my gameplay, and the Meta's recording software isn't that good, alright? And also when you're facing doors, the automatic doors that open and shut themselves, it does have an obvious loading screen, bit of a performance drop when that happens, but it's not a big deal. There are sequences though where certain events are meant to trigger, like in the sewers in the beginning when you're saving the cops and you use the batarang to cut the rope. One time it couldn't trigger for me and I couldn't cut the rope, so I'd have to restart the save, last checkpoint. Or the door that leads to a collectible that was also secured with a rope, which I needed to reload the game again. I also couldn't go further with Bolton's boss fight, or whatever his name is, Lockup or something. I beat the final phase where you knock him out. He's supposed to get knocked out, but he then stands up and tries to chase after me endlessly without his weapon in hand. Yeah, but it wasn't game breaking or anything. And another big tip, please don't finish the game, don't go to the end game, alright? There's a part in the game where it tells you that it's the end. It's like you can't go beyond this, okay? You will lose access to a bunch of things. Don't do it if you haven't collected the collectibles in Death Row and Maximum Security, if you're someone who likes to collect collectibles. Because I did the mistake of doing this and now I can't go back to the Death Row or Maximum Security. The doors are locked and I cannot re-enter unless I modify my game save to lose some progress, or what I did, just start a new save for the sake of the collectibles. So just keep that in mind. But I do trust Camouflage will fix that as soon as possible. Them adding extra challenge maps, because there's only 3 combat challenge maps and 3 predator challenge maps. I was gonna say that at least it's a VR game, they wouldn't be bugged like they are on the console versions. I was wrong. There is a combat challenge that is bugged with like 4 is it 4 billion or 48 million points? I don't know how that's even possible. And for my personal thoughts, this game is great. It is phenomenal. Okay, I personally like this game more than Arkham Asylum. I dig its concept so great, and that I'm just one who's really into the soundtrack. The soundtrack isn't similar to like the other Arkham games. It's got its own personal spin to it, and I give huge props to the composer for that, because it defines Batman music as a literal genre. So in my opinion, it's a great way to feel like you are in Batman's cowl. So if you're looking to buy this game, I would say make the purchase, man. Make the purchase. Everyone complaining about buying the MetaQuest 3 like it's like you're buying a new house or something. It's not that deep. And also again, don't we all make purchases for consoles if a specific game that we love is on that console? And even if you're not a huge Arkham fan, there is a lot more to VR than a console there, because it's essentially more, it's got broader options. Okay, it's got broader options. Plus, $330 is way more affordable than $700, don't you think? If you're willing to make the purchase for the MetaQuest 3, you can also do that, which is right now, I think, almost $500, if I'm not wrong. But hey, you want to do that, you want to make the purchase, then check in the description for discount links that you can use to get free money in your Meta account. And if you're going to look to buy Arkham Shadow separately, I do have a code, so you don't have to pay the full price. And that is it for this video. Let me know what you think, if you're going to actually really get this game, or what are your points that you want to bring out to me. And you know, let's share our opinions, man. All right, I'll see you guys in the next video.
Tell me everything you know about Riddler.
Stay awesome.